Janet MacKenzie.
Janet MacKenzie? Other hand, please.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence that I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Janet MacKenzie.
Aye, that's my name.
And you were the housekeeper companion to the late Miss Emily Jane Friend.
I was a housekeeper. I've no opinion of companions, poor, feckless bodies, afraid to do a bit of honest domestic work.
Quite so, quite so. I just meant that she held you in esteem and affection, and you were more like friends rather than that of mistress and servant.
20 years I'd been with her and looked after her. She knew me and she trusted me. And many's the time I prevented her from doing a foolish action.
Miss MacKenzie, would you please address your remarks to the jury?
What kind of woman was Emily Jane French?
She was a warm-hearted body. A bit too warm-hearted at times, I'm thinking, a wee bit too impulsive too. Why, there was times she'd have no sense at all. She was easily flattered, you see.
And when was the first time you saw the prisoner, Leonard Bow?
He came round, I mind, at the end of August.
Well, did he come around often?
To begin with, once a week, but later it was oftener. 2 and even 3 times he'd come. He'd sit there flattering her, telling her how young she looked and noticing any new clothes she was wearing.
Yes, quite. Just please tell the jury in your own words of the events of October the 14th.
It was a Friday night, and my night out. I was going round to see some friends of mine in Glenister Road, which is not above 3 minutes' walk. I left the house at 7:30. I had promised to take my friend the pattern of a knitted cardigan that she'd admired, but when I got there I found I'd left it behind. So after supper I said I'd slip back and fetch it, as it was a fine night and no distance. I got back to the house at 9:25. I let myself in with me key and went upstairs to my room. As I passed the sitting room door, I heard the prisoner in there talking to Miss French.
How did you know it was the prisoner's voice that you heard?
I know his voice well enough, with him calling so often. An agreeable voice it was, I'll not say it wasn't. Talking and laughing they were. It was no business of mine, so I went off, fetched me pat and let myself out and went back to my friend.
Okay, now I want these times to be very exact. You say that you re-entered the house at 9:25.
Aye, it was just after 9:20 that I left Glenister Road.
How do you know that?
By the clock on my friend's mantelpiece, and I compared it with my watch, and the time was the same.
So it takes you 4 minutes to walk home, and you enter the house at 9:25, and you are in the house for?
Oh, I was there all to 10 minutes. It took me a few minutes to search for the pattern, as I wasn't quite sure where I'd left it.
And what did you do next?
I went back to my friend in Glenister Road. She was delighted with the pattern, simply delighted. I stayed there till 11:22, then said good night, then went home. I then went into the sitting room to see if the mistress required anything before she went to bed.
And what did you see?
She was there, on the floor, poor body. Her head was beaten in. All of the drawers were on the ground, with everything tossed hither and thither. The broken vase was on the floor, and the curtains were flying in the wind.
What did you do next?
I rang the police.
Now, Miss MacKenzie, did you really think that a burglary had occurred?
My lord, I must protest.
I will not allow that question to be answered, Mr. Myers. It should not have been put to the witness.
Let me ask it this way, then. After you rang the police, what did you do?
I searched the house.
For?
An intruder.
And did you find one?
No, indeed. Nor any signs of disturbance, save in that sitting room.
What do you know about the prisoner, Leonard Bow?
I know that he needed money.
Had he ever asked Miss French for any?
Oh, he was too clever for that.
No, I mean, did he ask her to help with the business? Her income tax returns, for example?
Aye, not that there was any need of it.
What do you mean, not that there was any need of it?
Miss French had a good clear head for business.
Oh, do you know what arrangements she made for the disposition of her property in the event of her death?
She'd make a will as the fancy took her. She was a rich woman with a lot of money to leave and no near relatives. It must go where it can do the most good, she'd say. Once it was to orphans she left it, another time to an old people's home, once even to a dispensary for cats and dogs. But in the end, it always came down to the same. She'd quarrel with the people, come home, tear up the will and make a new one.
Well, when did she make her last will?
She made it on October the 8th. I heard her talking to Mr. Stokes, the lawyer, saying he was to come round tomorrow. She was making a new will. He was there at the time. The prisoner, I mean, kind of protesting, saying, no, no. And the mistress said, but I want to, dear boy. I want to. Do you remember the day I was almost run over by a bus? Why, it might happen at any time.
And when did she make a will previous to that one?
In the spring it was.
Now, Miss MacKenzie, did you know that Leonard Vole was a married man?
No, indeed, and neither did the mistress.
My lord, what Miss French knew or did not know is pure conjecture on Janet Mackenzie's part.
Well, let me put it this way. You say that your mistress was of the opinion that Leonard Vole was single. Upon what facts do you base that?
There was the books, the one she ordered from the library. There was the one about the life of the Baroness Burdett Coates, and one about Disraeli and his wife, both about women who'd married men years younger than themselves. I knew what she was thinking.
I'm afraid we cannot admit that.
Why?
Members of the jury, it is possible for a woman to read the life of Disraeli without contemplating marriage with a man younger than herself.
Did Leonard Vole ever mention a wife?
Never.
Thank you, Miss MacKenzie.
I think we can all appreciate how devoted you were to your mistress.
Oh, I was.
You had great influence over her.
Maybe.
Yes, in her last will, that is the one written last spring, Miss French left the whole of her fortune to you. Were you aware of that fact?
She told me so. All crooks these charities, she'd say. Expenses here and expenses there, and the money never going to the object you give it for. I've left it to you, Janet, and you can do what you think is right and good with it.
It was an action of great trust on her part. In her current will, I understand, she's left you merely an annuity. The principal beneficiary is the prisoner, Leonard Vole.
Oh, it would be a wicked injustice if he ever touches a penny of that money.
Now, you say that Miss French had very few friends and acquaintances. Now, why was that?
She didn't go out much.
Yes, so when she struck up this friendship with the prisoner, it made you very sore and angry, didn't it?
Didn't like seeing my dearest lady being imposed upon.
Yes, but you admitted that he never imposed upon her. What you mean is you didn't like seeing someone supplanting you with influence over Miss French.
She leaned on him a good deal, far more than was safe, I thought.
Far more than you personally liked.
Of course, I said so. But it was of her good I was thinking.
So, he had a great influence over her, and Miss French had a great affection for him.
That was what it had come to.
So, if he asked for money, she'd almost certainly give him some,
Oh,
would she
I've
not?
not said that.
But he never received any money from her.
That may not have been for more to try.
Let's get back to the evening of October the 14th. You say you heard the prisoner and Miss French talking together. What did you hear them say?
I didn't. I didn't hear what they actually said.
So you heard voices, the murmur of voices.
They were laughing.
Yes, you heard a man's voice and a woman's voice and laughter, and you say you didn't hear what was said. What makes you think that the man's voice was Leonard Vole's?
I know his voice well enough.
This was behind a closed door, was it not?
Aye, it was closed.
So you heard the murmur of voices behind a closed door, and you swear that one of them was Leonard Vole. I suggest that this is mere prejudice on your part.
It was Leonard Vole!
You went past the door twice, yes? Once going to your room and once coming out?
Aye, that's so.
So you were no doubt in a hurry to get your pardon, return to your friend?
I was in no particular hurry. I had the whole of the evening.
But I'm suggesting that you passed quickly on both occasions.
I was there long enough to hear what I heard.
Come, Miss MacKenzie, you don't wish to suggest to the jury that you were eavesdropping.
I was doing no such thing. I've better things to do with my time.
Exactly. Now, I do understand you are registered with the National Health Insurance.
Aye, that's so. 4 and 6 I have to pay every week. It's a terrible lot of money for a working woman to have to pay.
Yes, many people feel that. I understand, Miss MacKenzie, you recently applied for a national hearing apparatus.
6 months ago I applied for it and not got it yet.
So your hearing isn't very good. If I say to you, you couldn't possibly understand a voice behind the closed door, what do you answer? Can you hear what I just said?
I can't hear nobody when they mumble.
In fact, you didn't hear anything even though I'm standing a few feet away from you in open court. Yet, you swear that behind a closed door with two people talking in ordinary conversational tone, you heard the voice of Leonard Vole, as you swept by on 2 occasions.
It was him, I tell you, it was him.
You mean you wanted it to be him? You have a preconceived notion.
Oh, who else could it have been?
Exactly. Who else could it have been? That's the way your mind worked. Now, Miss MacKenzie, was Miss French lonely all by herself in the evening?
No, she was not lonely. She had books from the library.
She listened to the wireless, perhaps.
Aye, she listened to the wireless.
She liked a good talk on it, perhaps that of a good play.
Aye, she liked a good play.
So perhaps what you heard was a man's voice and a woman's voice and laughing over the wireless. There was a play on that evening, Lovers Leap.
Oh, it was not the wireless.
Why not?
Because the wireless was away being repaired that week, that's why.
Must have made you very angry if you thought Miss French intended to marry the prisoner.
Naturally, it was a daft thing to do.
It is possible, if he had married Miss French, that he may have persuaded her to dismiss you.
Should never have done that. Not after all these years.
Well, you don't know what anyone will do you? Not if they're strongly influenced by someone.
He would have used his influence. Oh yes, he would have done his best to make her get rid of me.
You saw the prisoner as a menace to your way of life at the time.
He would have changed everything.
Yes, very sad. No wonder why you feel so bitterly against the prisoner.
My learned friend has gone to great pains to extract an admission of vindictiveness from you towards the prisoner.
A painless extraction?
Do you
Quite painless.
Do you really think that your mistress would have married the prisoner, Leonard Vole?
Indeed I do. I just said so.
Yes, indeed you did. Well, do you think that he exerted so much influence over her that he could have gotten her to dismiss you?
I'd like to have seen him try. He'd not have succeeded.
Did he seem to dislike you?
No. had his manners.
Lastly, you said it was Leonard Bowe's voice that you heard through that closed door? How do you know it was Leonard Bowe's voice?
You know a person's voice when you hear it. You don't have to hear exactly what they're saying.
Thank you, Miss MacKenzie.
Morning, George.